check. Almost there. Welcome to the show, everybody. Oh, and I'm going to have to turn the sound off myself, too. Is that how it's going to be? All right. All right. You know what? I've had worse. That's all right. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. I did a little bit of fixing. Hopefully, the audio is slightly better. Kinda. Also, I don't know why the vertical stream is going out to YouTube, but Instagram is getting the horizontal one, and it's... I don't understand. It makes no sense. Like, and the switches are thrown, the thingies are done, the whatever. So, welcome. Good to see you. Glad for you to be here. Hit the like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. I'll be adding little bits of graphics over the next couple of days while I'm in town in LA doing my Nerd Halen thing tomorrow night, and Flappers on Friday, especially for all of our Patreon folks. I also posted a video. Mike's still funky? Really? Really? Is it still funky? I thought it was better. Son of a dog doodle. Clean that up. I'm trying. I thought we'd gotten there. Hold on one second. So maybe it's clipping. Could be the possibility. It shouldn't be that bad. I'm gonna listen to, or am I just catching crap from all right, let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna check it. Hey. All right, so it sounds okay on my end. I'm not quite sure why it would be weird. The okay, outputs, gain lock, input gain shouldn't be more than that. I've got it turned. Maybe that's the issue. It's turned down on here, and it's like squashed or some shit. I don't know. Who can say? I'll work it out. I'm working it out right now. It's a bit sandy. Ooh, some people are, it sounds fine. It's good enough to, okay. Better now? Okay. I didn't do much, honestly. I barely changed a thing. So I'm just going to go with the idea that there are gremlins and we will deal with them, as we should. Hold on one second. Let me go edit widget real quick. Come in there. In here. Yeah, it doesn't, there we go. Obviously the widgets are being very loud right now, so I'm going to have to turn them. I'm going to have to mute the sound effects until I have to play music again. What a day. Okay. Where do we even start? Okay. I think I want to start with this. There's this guy JP, and you might have seen him occasionally on Shitter or on some of the other ones. And let me bring in the chat room here, because you guys are awesome. Let's see if that works. I don't know. There you are. he's one of these guys that like super pro Trump, did a ton of like butt wiping for Trump all during the campaign, did sketches about liberals and herbada. Just, one of these guys who like too cute by half, totally throwing everything he's got behind getting Trump elected. And now he, like a bunch of them, is kind of, well, he of everybody is still trying to have it both ways. Let's just start there. And let me bring this in. Right, this is him. I'm sure some of you recognize this guy. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But he's just always been one of these kind of like, Trump sucks. It's just his gig, right? And I don't know. Hold on one second. Quite why there's this kind of obligation by a lot of maggots to like, continue turd polishing while literally just living in a state of shame. Like they just can't. Like that, it's super odd. They have to like, and I guess it's maybe a social thing. But they do this thing where, hold on, I'm gonna try this. Go, wait, drag it out. There you go. Yeah. Where they can't just do a hard cut away like Tucker has or some of these other folks. And I'll give you the idea. So this is just he was a right of middle comedian years ago. Now he's a right of right comedian. Yeah, very much like TYT. Like they just can't help. I mean, right now, Cenk Uygur is spending more time running interference for Tucker Carlson than he would ever do for all the people he was wrong about, who were trying to warn him about the fucking strategy or, of if we don't get everything, nobody gets anything that they've been running. Anyway, don't get me started. You know how that goes. All right. So let's just hear a little bit from, this is, troubling tweets from Trump. My thoughts. I'm sad that he couldn't carry on, the alliteration with it. Troubling tweets from Trump. 2 thoughts, but we'll see.
Chris?
No, it doesn't. It makes it sound like he's been listening to people like you and others saying that they have, and he's like, screw you. I make the decisions around here, you chump. Okay, wait, by the way, worked very hard, great speaker, Mike Johnson, yada, yada, yada. This is April 15th. When dirty cop James Comey, the failed head of the FBI, went after me, he was using FISA. And while parts of FISA were illegally and unfortunately used against me and the Democrats' disgraceful witch hunt and attack on Russia hoax, and perhaps would be used against me in the future, I'm willing to risk the giving up of my rights and privileges as a citizen for our great military and country. Our military patriots desperately need FISA 702, and it is one of the reasons we have had such tremendous success on the battlefield. I've spoken with many in our military who say FISA is necessary in order to protect our troops overseas. So just, there's no sound on the clip? Crap. Hold on one second. Why would that not be? 1 second. I'll solve this, by golly and by God. Mixes. Stream mix is there. There's Safari. Oh, maybe it's the wrong stream mix. Maybe they're drunk. Let's go to, well, I'll tell you what. I'll do this. I'm switch it over to here and see if that works. Okay, let me back up to what he said. Oh. Cancellation dummy. That's what it was. Sorry. I don't know why. I don't know why that would cut it out, but whatever.
Troubling tweets. Check out a couple of these. Israel never talked me into the war with Iran. Well, that makes it sound like they did. And
That was the part I was saying where no, it doesn't.
here's an even more disturbing one. I am willing to risk the giving up of my rights and privileges as a citizen. And he wants you to as well. There's been some troubling things Trump has tweeted out. Let's take a look.
Okay, so by the way, not troubling at all. I mean, awful, weak, stupid, hypocritical, lies. Yeah, troubling. No, I will not be troubled by this moron's madness. It's just not going to happen. So, does that is the audio a little bit better on that part of it? Just checking. Just checking to see if the audio from the clip is okay. It takes a second. Okay, good. Thank you.
Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my freedom-loving friend. This is where we help spread the light of truth and freedom because truth conquers. Now, I will have the disclaimer said at the top of the show here.
By the way, this is not a disclaimer. Disclaimer, beg your pardon. It's, he's got to kiss Trump's ass at least once for every criticism that he gives.
I like to call balls and strikes as I see it.
Nonsense.
I will do so with President Trump. Hell, just to prove my point, I love the fact that recently he approved like a psychedelic therapy research thing for veterans.
Yeah, no, he did not approve a psychedelic therapy research thing. He signed an executive order for Joe Rogan to come and bare his anus to him after Rogan had gone after him. And he used this as a tool to do it. It has no legal bearing. It does not direct policy in any meaningful way. It doesn't create any new laws. And the FDA would still have to approve all this stuff. And most of the stuff that he mentions in it is already going through clinical trials. That's the fucking point. Oy.
It's something that military veterans with PTSD, their suicide rates are astronomical, and this route of therapy has helped them tremendously. So I love that President Trump has done that.
And by the way, how's that? Oh, how did that manage to help them tremendously? Well, because it's been available either here in this country under limited, and that's where the ketamine stuff came from. This is what it's tied to. So yeah, it was Rogan bait. Pure and simple.
And I'm telling you this because one, I mean it, and two, just so I don't look like, some yahoo like, well, everything Trump does is wrong.
Think about it. This dude has done nothing but pelican Trump's nuts for years. And he's worried that his own viewers will stumble across this video where he addresses these the obvious sacrilegious tweets and disgusting tweets and the campaign promise violating tweets, and they'll turn on him. So he's
when he does things right, I'll call it as such. When he does things that are wrong relative.
What about when he does things that are completely pointless and useless and just performative to make idiots like you jump around like marionettes?
To my moral compass and my thoughts, I'm going to call it as such. And even when he does things that are literally wrong relative to his campaign promises, I'll certainly call that out. So he's been tweeting some troubling things. And by the way,
troubling.
I don't think, him being a loose unit on Twitter, I got no problem with that. I am acclimated to it. And in fact, I am disturbed if he's not a loose unit on Twitter. So his personal insults, I'm here for it. I'm not going to criticize those. I'll say, like, they entertain me. I'm here for it. Whether, back.
Right, because you want your president to be as baseline childish as he possibly can be, because you can't comprehend any other form of communication.
He's calling Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig, or even recently when he's calling people who I respect, like Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, low IQ traitors.
Yeah, that's hilarious, dude. Yeah, they're your friends. You say you like them. That's just it's like par for the course, man. It's just.
I got no problem with that.
No problem whatsoever. Even though Marjorie Taylor Greene's kid got death threats because he was doing this, and all of them have gotten death threats because he sends his sickos after him.
Well, I have inherent disagreement with Trump's premise when he's tweeting things like that, because it's like they are supporting the things that you used to. And now you're calling them the man.
So, sorry. So he is completely turned on everything he believes in. He is ethically thrown every issue that you care about out the fucking window. He's attacking the people that want to hold him to it, who were as ginger as you possibly can about doing it. They tiptoed around him for months and months before they finally had enough. And you agree with them, but you think it's hilarious that he's calling them low IQ traitors after he said that we used to execute traitors.
Necessarily the best look of President Trump, but I'm not even here criticizing that.
No, of course not. There's too much other stuff to criticize.
I'm here to criticize things that scare me as a human American. So let's get started. President Trump tweets these, and
you notice this dude is sharp as a fucking tack normally on his show. Just pitter patter all the day long, almost scripted level. The dialogue just flows. And then when Trump shows his true colors in such a way that he can't avoid it, everybody turns into like what's the Paul Manafort. Well, that is our position as we think that as we were in that circumstance is what we thought we would do.
Socials them out, and then they get reposted to Twitter. I'm not on Truth Social. He says, whether people like Israel or not, they have proven to be a great ally of the United States of America. They are courageous, bold, loyal, and smart, and unlike others that have shown their true colors in a moment of conflict and stress.
By the way, he means the Europeans, but also Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, et cetera, et cetera.
Israel fights hard. Oh, they like fighting, and knows how to win. They haven't won anything yet. President Donald J. Trump. This is disturbing on various levels for me. Like, one, replace Israel with Ukraine. And this just looks like Biden propaganda. And then Trump tweets it out. The commonality.
Sorry, no. First of all, we didn't go to war. We didn't bomb Russia and sink their fucking navy when we were helping Ukraine. We simply helped them defend themselves when they were attacked. There is a huge difference between defending someone who was innocently attacked by a bigger country and us actively, aggressively attacking Iran. He does this, but also Glenn Beck does this. They try to use this as the parallel, as like, well, this is just like Ukraine. No, it's not. It is the exact opposite. We're Russia in this analogy, if that's what you want to carry.
Nation, it's the look of propaganda. Objectively, Israel does not seem to be a great ally. Many Americans are waking up to that. I'll show you that in a second. And then two, I mean, this
are they?
What I said on Twitter about President Trump's post. Tell us you're being blackmailed by basically telling us you're being blackmailed. Like, it just looks like Israel made him do this.
With what? With what? Did they have video of him fucking a kid? Did they have the Epstein files? Did they have evidence that the fraud trials were, it would have been worse if that had been released? That he would have gone to jail earlier, that there would have been 100 counts instead of 40? If they can blackmail you, maybe that's a problem. If they can blackmail you to the extent that you would be willing to triple tap a girls' school, how bad is it? And how can you support somebody who clearly has such baggage that they can be blackmailed into starting a fucking war?
Just out of the blue. Hey, everybody, just so you know, Israel is a great ally, whether you like them or not. Well, we're mostly not. All right?
It wasn't out of the blue. It wasn't. It was in direct response to the criticism that Tucker Carlson and I don't watch enough of this asshole's channel to know if he was on that bus at all, just hinting at it. But all the ones It was defensive. They were all saying, oh my God, Netanyahu put a spell on him. That's what Tucker Carlson said. Literally a spell. Witchcraft. Or they fucking hypnotized him, or 7 phone calls turned him into the Manchurian candidate. I guess the Manischewitz candidate in this circumstance. Hey-oh. But he was responding to that. It's his ego that's dented.
They're a great ally. So it just looks really weird. That's one of the disturbing things about this. Like, that's...
First of all, it's right in line with shit he said in the campaign trail. He said it all the time. He certainly said it when Miriam Adelson was around, right? He was there, like, he brought it up all the time. He was in the last term. It was like, I'm the greatest friend Israel's ever had, right? So why is this new? Why is that statement? That is, if anything, that's more in line with what he said before he got elected than the rest of the shit he's been saying.
That's just like, it's almost like reverse psychology. He knows that everybody knows that Israel is not a great ally.
No, he does not. And also, he didn't give a fuck about Israel. He wants the power and control that Netanyahu has in that region of the world. That's it.
He needs to tell you they're a great ally. Let's try the mind control. So the disturbing thing is...
Oh, so this is a ricochet psyop because we're all being, I don't know, hypnotized by Netanyahu as it bounces off the sweat on Trump's forehead?
This just looks like it's coming from a place of 1984 newspeak. Objectively, someone who is...
I thought he was an outsider who doesn't do these kind of things, that he was not like all those other politicians, that he says he talks just like you. And now he's the guy speaking like 1984. He's Big Brother.
Horrible ally. They offer nothing or very little at most to the United States. We get into wars because of them. And so objectively a bad ally. So 1984 news.
Sorry, no. No, we didn't get into this war because of Israel. Israel might have wanted it, but we got into this war because of Donald John Trump, the guy you pelicaned his balls all during both campaigns, who you did everything to attack his opponents as enemies, to decry Democrats as democrats, to do like demeaning and like sad attempts at humor, sketches and whatnot about Democrats to try and help Donald Trump win over the youth fucking, I don't know, incel roid group. So no, Israel didn't force our hand. Israel didn't lead us by the nose, and they didn't hypnotize Trump or cast a fucking spell on Trump to make him do this. He chose to do it. And here's the thing. He was always going to choose doing it. He was always going to do this. The same way he signed the same tax cut that Mitch McConnell had in his fucking desk drawer since fucking, 2002, whenever they drafted that up during Bush. He's a typical Republican.
We call them a good ally or a great ally. Is that double speak? Newspeak, double speak? I'm glad I'm not fluent in 1984.
Oh, fuck off. Yes, you are. You've got a flag behind you. You've tacked it to the wall as your backdrop for your show. Of course you know how to do 1984.
On the note, I mentioned how so many people are waking up to how Israel is not a great ally. Not only that.
Real quick. Whether they're a good ally or not is immaterial. Sorry. Because we don't have to do what they ask. We do not. Kamala Harris wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu in private. If he wanted to meet, they had to do it in public. Donald Trump met with him in private at Mar-a-Lago. Doing the exact same thing, by the way, that Nixon did about Vietnam. Like, don't make a deal. They talked to the South Vietnamese. Like, don't make a deal until we get in here. You'll get a much better deal. Or Reagan did. This is the same thing. Donald Trump is a typical Republican. Reagan did with the Iranians. They talked to him through back channels. Don't make a deal with Carter. We'll give you a much bigger, better deal when you get in. And boy, did he. Traded arms for hostages, Iran-Contra. He had an entire, back channel set up. It was a fucking industry. And Donald Trump did the exact same thing. Talk to Netanyahu. Don't stop bombing. Don't agree to, any kind of peace plan until we get in there. We'll use the same one that Hamas and the Palestinian Authority agreed to under Biden. You'll just get to bomb for 10 more months.
But it looks like they have really, really bad behavior and intentions, because I don't think...
Who gives a shit? Still, how the fuck does that matter? Yeah, Bibi was in the Situation Room. Still doesn't matter. You know who was also in the Situation Room? Some generals who were against doing this. Trump didn't listen to them. Why did he have to listen to Bibi? I'm sorry. I just don't buy this idea that they are just trying to find an off-ramp for Trump's fuck-ups and pointing them at anybody else. I don't care how self-interested Bibi Netanyahu is. I don't care how much cajoling or threatening he did. Donald Trump is currently the president of the United States of America. He has every tool available to him, from military to espionage to economic, to not be in a position where he could be blackmailed by a country that size. If he chose to do it, he chose to do it. Period.
Americans are falling for the eternal victim story anymore. Netanyahu loves to play the victim archetype. We've been through a lot. The Holocaust. You didn't. Yeah, you were not in the Holocaust, Netanyahu. And
yeah, I don't think he ever said he was. What do you think? That's what he told Trump, and that's what did it?
If he was, admittedly, some of the people in Israel, they have ancestors who were in it, yet we know...
Again, this has nothing to do with anything. Trump is either responsible or he's not. He's either daddy's home, big papa, or he isn't. And if he's a kowtowing wuss who could have his ear bent by any leader who will promise him a golf course or threaten him with pictures of him and Epstein and some underage girls, then maybe he's the problem.
Recognize someone playing the victim, and we really know how to recognize someone overplaying the victim card.
Yeah, you're doing it right now. Yes, that's what we're all witnessing here. This asshole is playing the victim. You helped dig this hole. Wondering how Trump could possibly be full of shit when everybody was telling you he was full of shit. All right, again, I would love to ask this guy, how long would it have taken him to figure out Epstein was a pedophile? How many flights? And if he himself had done an article saying, hey, he likes the girls on the younger side, if that would have been a clue to people around him that he knew what was going on.
So, Israel saying, Iran's going to get us. Everybody wants to get us. The eternal victim, people just aren't buying it anymore.
Well, Trump is.
People fell for it for a while. Then they got fatigued. Then they wake up and see, I don't buy it anymore. I see what you're actually doing. So check this out.
So sorry, Trump is dumb. Now, that's the issue. He's just dumb. So he's going to go, a love affair between America and Israel lasted 75 years, but a breakup is starting to look inevitable. 60% of Americans view they don't care. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? The title of this video is Troubling Tweets from Trump. All right, get to the next whatever it is. Okay, I don't lay this off on Israel. Here it is. Okay, this is the other one.
Israel never talked me into the war with Iran. The results of October 7th added to my lifelong opinion that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Did. Okay, just first of all, there was a stand down order given on October 7th. And that's not theory anymore. There's been an Israeli soldier, IDF soldier, who testified to, I was given a stand down order. Then you hear the stand down order over the radio, which was recorded. I've made a previous reaction video about that.
Also, why is your camera pushing in, Mr. 1984? You're not moving. Yeah, that's JP Sears. You want to talk to me about 1984 and you're doing fake push-ins on your fucking camera to accentuate your points?
So there's like objectively, there was a stand down order given at the border, and then Hamas came in. And also, in the documentary called The Bibi Files, you'll see testimony from Israeli government insiders that reveal Netanyahu was literally paying Hamas $35 million a month.
Interesting edit there. Again, trying to buy them off like they bought off the Palestinian Authority. The idea was that they could pay them down. It doesn't matter. Again, what the fuck does this have to do with whether Trump is a dough-headed asshole or a demonic liar? Because pick one. Those are your only two choices. The most charitable thing you can say about Trump is he's dumb and he's always been dumb. That's your only out.
So this whole October 7th victim...
Sorry, you have, and by the way, you have all this information. Trump doesn't. Is that the point? Somebody's hiding fucking YouTube documentaries from him that'll tell him the truth?
Thing the Israeli government does, that carries no weight. And that's anti-weight. That's like your government did that. Your government helped orchestrate that. Now, of course, innocent Israelis were killed. They're the real victims. They're the victims of a corrupt Israeli government that literally partnered with their quote-unquote enemy to...
And Donald Trump to create Trump Plaza Gaza.
A slaughter, which then justifies everything you see here today. October 7th was their 9/11 inside job, which justifies going to war with everybody around them. Let's go on. I watch and read the fake news, pundits and polls, and total...
So, all right, a quick throwaway. 9/11 was an inside job perpetrated by George Bush and Dick Cheney, another pair of Republican president and vice president. So if you really believed that, and they did it with the support of the entire Republican Party, why would you ever vote for another Republican again, or anybody that the Republicans accept as their candidate? Like, I could almost see you voting for Trump as an independent, but if the Republicans are okay with him, and you believe they faked 9/11, what do you think he really slipped past the censors?
Believe 90% of what they say are lies and made up stories, and the polls are rigged, much as the 2020 presidential election was rigged. I'm not going to sit here and defend the fake news. I don't know.
You are. What he's saying is fake news. It's a lie.
He's referring to that they said, but like, yeah, I believe much of what they say is lies. Just like they...
Well, all right, let's start working with what you think they're not lying about, because they're clearly not lying about all of this, and we clearly weren't lying when we were telling you that Trump was a dickhead. Okay, so anyways, this we don't need to spend our entire evening on this young fellow having his like one moment of truth in the middle of all this, the desperate attempt for these folks to try and turd polish and back their way out of this. I want to grab this. I think this video title, this next thumbnail, might sum it all up. This, all right. This might wrap it up in a nice little bow. Okay. This is seconds away from saying the Democratic Party kicked me out of the chat. Yeah. Whoops. Here we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, Lana Douche with the Occam's rubber mallet. What's going on? And the subtitle of it, even more ridiculous. Americans didn't vote for this. Yes, you fucking did. If you voted for Trump, you voted for this. If you watched how he handled COVID and said it would go away when the sun came out like it was a fucking cockroach or a vampire, and you saw like the lockdown started under him, the spending started under him, he signed off on all of it. He started Operation Warp Speed, which is, obviously the thing that got all the vaccines, kicked in, which, by the way, was all planned for in the pandemic response team's playbook, that when he fired them, they left behind. He fired Obama's team, but then followed their directions because duh. But for all these like vaccine haters, here you go. What's going on? Americans didn't vote for this. And if you didn't vote, you voted for this. If you thought it was a coin toss and it didn't matter who got elected and it was going to be the same no matter what, you voted for all of this. Even more so than maybe some of the maggots who held their nose and were convinced that, well, I might not like everything he does, but I like almost everything. I like almost everything. Okay. What is going on? And by the way, look at the thumbnail. This fucking Mike Johnson and Thune, and there's lightning around the Capitol. I don't know. Maybe they're going to bring the creature back to life.
Joining us right now from the great state of Texas, great Republic of Texas, Congressman Brandon Gill, who's had quite a lot to say about the SAVE Act, the Dignity Act, and this flirtation that some in the GOP seem to have with amnesty. Congressman, what is happening?
Oh, my God. Wait, who was the last president to actually do amnesty? Was he a Democrat? Who was the guy who did, like, millions of people? Just trying to remember their... Well, I don't recall.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's really disappointing. Whenever you run on mass deportations, you don't turn around and give your voters amnesty. And yet,
I'm sorry. There's a Freudian slip there. I think he pointed out that all the illegal votes that anybody ever found all voted for Trump. Perhaps even some illegals.
some people who'd like to do just that. I mean, just last week, we voted to extend Haitian temporary protective status, which is essentially backdoor amnesty for Haitian illegal aliens, people who came into our country illegally. It's everything that we ran against. Politics.
It's weird, isn't it? Yes, it was Reagan who did it. That's right.
Comes down to just doing what you said you were going to do on the campaign.
Yeah, but that's not what Trump does. He does whatever will get him in. And he's the classic politician you guys rail against. You're just so fucking dumb. You can't allow yourself to recognize it. Your egos and your intellect and your ethics are so weak. You can't admit to yourself that by buying the line that, all politicians are just out for themselves. They're all just trying to fucking feather their nest and stuff like that. By buying into that, you literally introduced a candidate and then voted for him multiple times. That is a cartoonish exaggeration of that very trait.
Trail in so many ways. And if we would do that, I think we'll be in good shape. But we've got a lot more work to do.
And this belief that some have expressed that support, like, the Dignity Act, et cetera, they act like, well, this is the way to create a big tent. But this is not the way that you go about, Congressman, creating a big tent. That's not what this is.
No, I mean...
Well, it is, except it depends on who you want in your tent. Because sometimes, when we think big tent, I think it means a big tent is room for a lot of people. But I think when Lana Douche says big tent, what she means is a tent with some elbow room. You know what I mean? Where you can move around a little bit without bumping into any of these uncomfortables.
This will not create a big tent. This will burn the Republican and the conservative tent to the ground.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
The Dignity Act is amnesty, and you can, try to obfuscate that however you want. But the reality is that there are 12 million illegal aliens, roughly, who came into this country prior to the Biden administration, who right now are subject to deportation. Under the terms of the Amnesty Act, they would no longer be subject to deportation.
No, there are not 12 million dreamers. And even the majority of the 12 million, the 11 million or less that have been in the country, not all of them would be eligible.
Amnesty. On top of that,
But I'm sorry, I don't want him to not stay. You know what? It's amnesty for all of them. Go for it.
the Dignidad Act would make it more difficult to deport other illegal aliens who are in the country, and it would allow some illegal aliens who have already been deported to come back into the country. On top of that, it would massively increase
If they have family and they're married to an American.
Work visas that we give out and massively increase legal immigration, all things that the American people, especially Republican voters, don't want.
What you mean is mainly.
That's why I've been so vocal about this, because I don't think this is a bill we should be anywhere near.
No, you're completely right on that. We're talking.
Yeah, ugh, you know what I mean? I'm like, ugh.
Congressman Brandon Gill from Texas. I like how the New York.
By the way, yeah, prior to Biden's a weird phrase. Who had a presidency prior to Biden? Who was president prior to Biden? I know Obama was, because Biden was vice president. Somebody else was prior to Biden. I'll look it up.
Put it. They said, quote, the legislation does try to cover a naked amnesty with a fig leaf of provisions for strengthening the border and immigration enforcement. Because my understanding, especially.
By the way these guys operate is anything they don't like about a bill, slippery slope. Anything they do like about a bill, too little, too late, and will never grow because they know it's, I don't know, they feel like they're just being led along or something.
E-Verify and these enforcement mechanisms, this is already on the table for Republicans to use. So why are they presenting it like Salazar and others like these are new tools, but only if you just pass this bill?
Yeah, exactly. And this is pitched as a bipartisan immigration solution, which we've heard bipartisan comprehensive immigration before. This isn't the first time.
Yeah. And every time, if it had been brought to the floor, it would have passed with a plurality of votes.
Heard that. But as a general matter, we simply do not agree on fundamental principles with the Democrat Party. And if we're having to,
Democratic,
from the very beginning, give on major issues here, like amnesty.
First of all, hey, asshole, no. Don't lay this on Democrats. That's not how this works. You guys have the House and the Senate and the presidency. Democrats aren't driving this bus. This is meant to save Republican seats in iffy districts where they are losing support, not just from the minority community, but the white community, the white working class that actually cares about that community. They don't like what's happening with ICE. It's, even Republicans haven't bought into this shit 100%. And it's a statistically significant number of Republicans who are backing away from this. So these bills are being presented in comprehensive immigration reform. The reason it has bipartisan support is because both groups, both major parties need those voters to make a difference. And Trump got an untoward number of them, more than likely because of the patriarchal nature of some groups, and not wanting to vote for a woman. And he's losing them on the merits.
Immigration reform or border security done, I think that, we're making the wrong move. Amnesty is a poison pill for any immigration bill. And you're right, there's a lot of border security that we need to get done now, but we need to do it without giving amnesty to.
Sorry, why do you need border security? I thought you didn't need didn't need a bill, you just needed a new president.
What this bill essentially does is it codifies past open borders. That's what amnesty is. Yeah. It says that,
Somebody, Surrender Monkey just says, Hal, what is your old friend Carol Roth, the MAGA financial genius, think about Trump's amazing economy? I haven't seen her for a while. Yeah, she's been a little hard to find, I gotta say. Well, let me shrink this down so it's readable. I don't know why this got stretched out. It's very strong. Yeah, you got me. I'm guessing no bueno. I think she's avoiding the conversation. Oops, sorry. 1 second.
It says that the results of open borders up until now are something that we're going to live with forever, and that's not something that I'm willing to do.
No, and I'm thankful that you are so vocal about this because, some of these people like Maria Salazar and some of these others, they've been equally vocal in their support of it, and it's giving Republican voters going into midterms some really, wrong ideas. And you look at polling of the House doesn't have a lot of room to play on this. I mean, the prognosticators out there are saying it could be bad in midterms.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and what better way to demoralize our Republican base, the people who are most loyal to the conservative movement, who want to see deportations, who voted for that.
Oh, yeah, that's your problem. See, they don't, there's not enough of you assholes anymore. There never were, because it was, this kind of broad bigot coalition that Trump was skating in on, and a bunch of them have run for the hills. So you can't appeal to the hyper base. There are more right-leaning independents or people you could talk into something by appearing to play bipartisan ball than there are like hardcore anti-immigrant maggots. It's just a numbers game, man. You don't matter.
Better way to demoralize them than by passing an amnesty.
Oh, and by the way, I would never interrupt Trump in that crowd demoralizing MAGA. Knock yourself out.
Bill. The good thing here is I think that most Republicans in the House recognize that. In fact, I think the vast majority of Republicans in the House recognize that. The difficult thing is that we've got a very small majority right now that we do need to grow in the midterm.
Excuse me, you have a mandate and the most beloved president in the history of belovedness.
And we're not going to grow that by talking about amnesty.
Right. No, completely agree. Congressman, I wanted to ask you as well. I mean, I know you're in the House, but you got insight into what happens in the Senate. What is happening with the SAVE Act, and your best guess as to what Senator Thune's strategy
Is this guy for re-election? Yes.
is here, if he has one? I have no.
I mean, unless he got in on a special election, I'm not quite sure.
Why this has stalled out. You all did your job in Congress, like repeatedly with this, I should add. And now it's just been stalled in the Senate. There are a lot of questions. Now people are questioning even Thune's integrity, which, he's kind of, making that an
Excuse me, I'm just going to enjoy that for one moment.
open option with the way that this is being shepherded through. What is the strategy here? I mean, I don't get it.
Well, it looks like Senator Thune is going to resume debate on the Save America Act at some point in the near future. I think he's said publicly that
Again, this thing doesn't even go into fucking effect until the 2027, even if they do pass it. It has nothing to do with the fucking midterms. It couldn't possibly. It will have the same impact if they pass it in December.
to do is make sure that we can get the DHS funding across the finish line or other short-term urgent issues first. You know, what he's done in the past, what the Senate has done is they began debate on the Save America Act, which just beginning debate in the Senate is at least a step in the right direction. And the idea was you begin debate. He did what's called filling the tree, which means that he allowed Republican amendments during that debate process that they would debate and discuss, not Democrat amendments. He filled the tree to only be Republican amendments.
Right. Gee, I wonder why it's not going through with some of those purplier senatorial races.
The hope is that would then morph into a talking filibuster. Remember, the point of a talking filibuster is to end the debate stage of the legislative process in the Senate by discussing it.
It doesn't matter. They don't have the votes. And they can't pass it through reconciliation because it doesn't lower the deficit. It adds to the budget. Doesn't matter. That's why he doesn't give a fuck about it. Because materially it's dead in the water. And he doesn't want to ruin a couple of the Republicans that would have to vote against it for their state, you know, to be like pilloried by Republicans leading into the midterms.
Debating it until everybody has had their turn to speak. And if everybody can speak as long as they want, then that can take quite some time. And each senator is allowed to speak twice during that legislative day. So that is the hope, that this morphs into a talking filibuster. But we need the Senate to restart debate to kind of re-engage that process. And you're right, it has been stalled while there's been other legislation pending.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, the American people are demanding the Save America Act.
No, they are not.
I mean, this is a 90-10 issue, and particularly.
No, it is not, because they added trans issues into it and a bunch of other garbage. The Republican amendment process is what killed it. So stupid.
For 4 years of open borders, the American people are saying, I do not want our midterm elections to have illegal aliens voting in them.
Well, they won't. They have never have, and they're not going to. And even if you pass this today, it would not impact the midterms. It would not become law until 2027. It's in the text of the bill.
I mean, it's that simple.
Folks.
You're simple. All right, now she's going to do an ad for gold or guns or gold bullets or some shit. It's like the desperate nature of this, where they're trying to make what Trump is doing, which is terrible for everybody, but extra terrible for them because it shames them. Now we go from what's going on to the second dumbest question of the day. I know you guys are going to love this one. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. No. Anyways, our next video, I'm just kidding. Is Trump a genius? Trump extending ceasefire is a perplexing move, according to this bitter dude on News Nation.
Friends, welcome to the program. President Trump appears to give Iran control of the war. One of two explanations. He's paralyzed or knows something we don't. We'll give you both.
Also, beyond paralyzed, he could be just stupid. Well, let's not forget the favorite from JP in those crowd, that he is being blackmailed, meaning that Netanyahu has pictures of him with a live boy or a dead girl, or maybe both. Who knows? It's a big plane.
Scenarios. In a moment, Vice Admiral John Fozzie Miller, Joel Rubin, on how the president's next moves will
Waka, waka, waka.
And his legacy, for better or worse. Plus, we are in San Francisco tonight, 24 hours away from the California gubernatorial debate. Former Golden State Senator Barbara Boxer tells us whether Democrats can avoid what even Democrats are calling California Armageddon. But first, our Why It Matters segment now.
I'm going to say yeah.
8,000 or 9,000 miles away in Iran. Right now, I can tell you what is happening with Iran. I can
Really?
give you a couple of explanations of why.
I don't think you can. I think you can. I think you can whip up something with the ingredients in front of you. But who's married to Dinesh's daughter? This guy or JP? Fascinating. Or is it the other congressman? Fafa Flipper.
We do not know how this is going to end up.
Yeah, that's it. None of us actually have a crystal ball or the ability to prognosticate.
President Trump may be screwing everything up.
I'm going to go with that one. Hold on. He may be, and I quote, screwing everything up. There you go. Whoops, sorry. That sounds like it's terrible. Oh, my music is still playing. That's why. Go away. President Trump may be screwing everything up. Is he? Yes, he is screwing everything up. He's screwing the pooch.
He may be an absolute genius. We don't know. It's only fair that we tell you we don't know. What we can say for sure is that right now, the Iranians appear in control. And
Oh, how did this dude get the short straw? For real.
the United States does not have the momentum that it had 2 weeks ago from America's military successes.
Sorry, we had momentum. Is that what we had?
Now, regardless of what happens, we have to figure out a way to regain that momentum. Earlier today, Trump unilaterally extended the ceasefire, justifying it by saying the government of Iran is seriously fractured. Typically, when your enemy's government is seriously fractured, that is the time you double down. And that appears to be what President Trump was planning on earlier this morning.
Before what?
When he was on with CNBC.
Will you let it keep going if there's progress in the talks before taking?
Well, I don't want to do that.
You're saying that you need at least the prospects for a signed deal today and tomorrow, or else you would resume bombing Iran.
Well, I expect to be bombing because
Jesus Christ.
that's a better attitude to go in with. But
It is. It's a better attitude. By the way, this is his mad dog theory, which, by the way, Nixon also used in dealing with Vietnam. Everything's a reboot with this asshole. He's never had an original idea in his life. He's a second-generation rich kid.
we're ready to go.
The move is perplexing, as this appears
The word you're looking for is stupid.
Iran now in control, waiting for them to come with some kind of proposal. Emphasis, though, on the word appears. This is the other possibility that we don't know.
What the other way it appears if you turn it upside down and look up its skirt.
That the regime is falling apart internally. And if the president has intelligence of that, if the Ayatollah and his henchmen
It's been reported in the news.
to fight among themselves, let them. For their part, the Islamic regime told Reuters Trump's ceasefire extension means nothing. The losing side cannot dictate terms. Now, remember last night, every other news channel was obsessed over Vice President J.D. Vance leaving for peace talks in the morning. That would
Hold on. No. They were not obsessed about him leaving for peace talks. They were trying to figure out if he actually was. They said he was on his way, and it turns out he had never left the White House. You want to talk about 1984? He was on his way and not leaving and already there and basically did need to go, but was the perfect guy to send at the same time.
this morning. We were the ones who told you Trump was at the White House still deciding if Vance would go or not.
No. Deciding something happens, and then you have made the decision. He was still flailing and making up his mind. You're not deciding isn't the period, it's the result. I'm a decider because I'm always deciding what I'm going to decide.
So we will tell you what we know, we will tell you what we don't know.
Welcome to News Nation.
The best case scenario is that the U.S. blockade creates infighting with the Iranian regime. It would.
And then they splinter into several groups, and one group decides that they're going to control the Strait of Hormuz and blackmail everybody, pretending to be a sanctioned member of the organization, whatever's running Iran, until someone moves in to kill them, either us or Israel or their own people or something like that, which could take years. So they basically form a new Houthi breakaway group, I'm sorry, I'm just following the logic.
Explain the conflicting messages out of Tehran. In that case, we might as well let them fight amongst themselves, and perhaps Israel can help a little bit on the ground of taking out the more disagreeable of the Iranian.
How do you know which one?
Hardliners.
Sorry, all hardliners are disagreeable, dickhead. What are you talking about? Yes, that scenario would send oil prices to $200 a barrel. No question. This is so dumb. Yeah, the Secretary of the Navy resigned today. Yeah. It's going that well.
Forces boarded a sanctioned oil tanker in the Indian Ocean overnight.
Yeah, we're fucking macho. We blow up fishing boats and take over oil tankers, unarmed vehicles. The same shit the Somalis do. We're nailing it.
Saw that video. So
yeah, it was fucking, are you kidding? We all spanked it to it.
The pressure campaign is putting real pressure on the Iranians and on their cold, hard cash that they use to keep the regime in power.
Citation needed.
As I said, there's two ways that this can be looked at.
One, in a realistic way where you understand that Donald Trump is a demented lunatic who was always dumb and now has ventured into absolutely psychotic territory as his brain turns to cottage cheese. And the turd polishing America is awesome MAGA way.
Scenario is that Trump is paralyzed and stuck between bad options, and he
Of his own making.
no longer enforcing his own deadline. Instead, he's waiting on Iran to make the next move. This may work out strategically, but right now it is a very bad look.
Says the turd polisher. This is not, he's basically whining. That's what this is. He's just bitching that he has to do this segment. I gotta come out here and defend this garbage.
This skit from The Daily Show sums up the worst possibility.
Ouch. Jesus Christ, the show clips from The Daily Show.
So that's where we've arrived at with the art of the deal. Basically, it's a cycle. It's a cycle of demands and threats and premature declarations of victory that allows the negotiator enough wiggle room to, at almost any point, claim that they've achieved exactly what they've set out to do.
Another unknown right now.
Well, let's put a pin in just how stupid my job is right now, and just how stupid I am, that my entire life has led up to me defending Donald Trump is, and how I'll feel like I will never live this down, and move on to something equally as stupid.
China's role in all of this. President Xi has a say. He's the Iranians' only real friend.
She. It's not Xi. It's she. X-I. Xi would be Z-H-I in pinyin and the Anglicization of Chinese words. She, you dumb motherfucker.
He is now demanding that the strait be opened. And remember, we were told that President Xi promised President Trump that he was not going to send any weapons from China to Iran to help rearm during.
No, he didn't. He said he basically agreed. So he's sending components, not fully formed
ceasefire. Well, that appears to be a promise that President Xi broke.
She. And also, he didn't make that promise. Trump said he got a letter from them that basically said, basically.
We caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it which wasn't very nice. A gift from China, perhaps. I don't know. But I was a little surprised, but because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with President Xi, but that's.
Yeah, you also said he was handling COVID professionally while he was creating basically kill chambers and prisons for people who got sick and telling the world they were hospitals.
That's the way war goes, right?
Yeah, it just goes that way. You know, shit happens. Other people's kids die, bombs go off, schools get hit. You know, your friends sell arms to your enemy, and your other friend helps target your own soldiers. Yeah, this is what happens. No, it fucking doesn't.
After our program last night, a number of you wrote and tweeted that I didn't understand Trump's genius in dealing with Iran. You watch this show because we don't pick a side.
Horse shit. You picked a side. You just pretend you don't. There's a veneer of it. I mean, this is like Fox Fair and Balance. News Nation is trying to be the Fair and Balanced network as well. They're trying to carve off the internet version of Fox like everybody else is.
We have a standard. I used that same standard when I told you the attacks on Iran were a good thing, and President Trump was the only president in 47 years to stand up to the Iranians.
Right. That's not a fair reading. It's equally fair to go, it was fucking insane. And the reason other presidents didn't do it this way is because it can't be done this way without killing way more people than necessary. Just killing civilians. You did pick a side. That is you picking a side.
I used that same standard when I told you on day 2 of the war that everything would come down to the Strait of Hormuz.
That's not a balls and strikes thing. That's just geography, dumbass. Everybody said that.
I used it last night when I told you we should watch whether J.D. Vance goes or not.
Apparently, you obsessed about whether he was going or not before the mainstream media obsessed about it the next morning when he was supposed to be going or not.
So I'm using the same standard right now to tell you Trump is stuck politically and appears to be looking for an easy way out.
He's always looking for an easy way out.
Taking the easy way out here is bad for America. So yes, Trump must continue to strangle the Iranian regime's flow of money if he wants this war to be a legacy-defining event for him.
Also, who the shit are you to talk about what a legacy-defining event is for him? I mean, you can't just step on your dick right after you tell us that you just call him balls and strikes and you're fairly looking at what he's doing because they don't pick a side, and you're talking about his legacy and not what's going to happen to the United States after this dipshit cooks off.
If the Iranian regime truly believes Trump will restart this war and then finish it, nothing good can come from Donald Trump. And that belief, teaching the Iranians that lesson, cannot come through angry tweets.
Thank you for watching.
Oh, man. They just bailed on him. Well, sorry to tell you this, but he hasn't got anything else. Donald Trump is not a deal maker. He strong arms people, and if the strong arming doesn't work, he bugs out. He's a wuss. Thank you for subscribing. We're so close to like 89,000. Come on, 89,000. Let's do it. We're like 12 away or 10 away or something like that. If you're watching, subscribe. For God's sake, for God darn. What a dick. So, and that's Cuomo's network, obviously. Same thing. Like, that's why they brought him over, for the illusion of parody. Now, do I have any pity for these people? No, I do not. I do not. But I have an impulse towards it that comes up occasionally when I see them kind of wrestling with the reality, like former professional fat shamer Jillian Michaels, who now is, I guess she's like jockeying to be, I don't know, Laura Trump light or something with visible triceps. Something like that. They both have visible triceps. Anyways, trying to be on the Laura Trump flank of the Republican Party. An uncertain future. Trump's global plan could collapse before it even starts. Okay, first of all, I'm going to need proof he actually fucking has one before you can say it was going to work and then it collapsed. I'm going to go with collapse is the plan, if there is one at all, because the whole thing is like, fuck it.
Does Trump end up eventually crowning himself as a global sovereign via the UN's replacement?
Yeah, he's a Timu Antichrist. That's what everybody's afraid of.
I mean, I think I'm exaggerating. And for those of you in the know, you're probably thinking, not so fast. This Board of Peace, it's not a guaranteed slam dunk. And that's true.
Right. It won't actually do anything. It's a way to gather a slush fund that he can pilfer forever, because until Gaza is secure enough for a rebuild, none of that money gets spent. And there's like, what, $6 to $10 billion in that fund in there already that Jared Kushner and Trump have access to, and they can loan out or manipulate the market and make money off of it.
Trump is facing 4 structural walls that could prevent the whole thing from cementing itself globally, and the first is Europe. So the EU's own treaty law is the problem. Articles 3 and 21 require Europe foreign policy to be grounded in the UN Charter. France, Germany, Sweden, and the UK have all explicitly rejected membership. Germany called it a counterdraft to the UN. The UK cited broader legal issues.
All right, I don't know where she's jumping in kind of in the middle of whatever argument she's making. Basically she's reacting to the fact that NATO no longer has to deal with a hostile Hungary.
Sweden refused to sign as the text stands, and as of early 2026, only Hungary and Bulgaria have joined as full members.
Okay, she's reading ChatGPT stuff.
Of Europe, of course. And this matters because if Brussels won't plug its ports into the corridor's digital infrastructure, the Europe in the India, Middle East, Europe stays broken. Trump can build the rail to Haifa, but if European customs won't talk to the system, the loop doesn't close. Second problem is Congress. By deploying the DFC as a wartime backstop, putting a government-backed insurance behind a high-risk private sector activity in a conflict zone, that's
Okay, is she talking about the pipeline they want to build from Saudi Arabia up to Europe to avoid the strait entirely? Does this moron, is she talking about a solution to the Iran circumstance that involves an 8 to 10 year plan to build a pipeline? Even if everybody jumps in all at fucking once? And then if they can keep it without somebody blowing it up?
taxpayer exposure. So if a major infrastructure node gets hit by drones or proxy attacks and those guarantees get triggered, the financial fallout could be significant. I mean, there's no widespread backlash yet, but the setup is for sure there. And in a polarized political environment, it wouldn't take much for that to become a major issue. The third is BRICS. Russia and China, well, they're not just complaining,
BRICS isn't a thing.
building a competing architecture.
No, they're not.
BRICS Pay is a decentralized payment system designed to bypass SWIFT and dollar-denominated trade in
Yeah, that can't get off the fucking ground because they can't agree whose currency to peg it to. And so they want to peg it to the US dollar. How do you think that's going to work out? Sorry, BRICS is going to run a tether as their primary payment point? You think that devalues the dollar? Are you shitting me?
that system's real. We've talked about it on the show.
No, it is not.
The architecture exists. Full
No, it does not. They don't even sign off on it. A crypto scheme between criminal organizations posing as governments temporarily while the SWIFT system is shut down between Russia and China so that they can buy and sell shitty arms and like drilling equipment and drone engines is not a fucking secondary economy.
operational status of BRICS is targeted by 2030, though internal disagreements across the bloc mean even that timeline is optimistic.
Yeah, try never.
If enough nations build a trade loop that bypasses the Board of Peace entirely, the world doesn't get one global order. It could get two incompatible ones.
Jesus Christ. So Trump thinks, I think she's going towards the whole, Trump thinks the Board of Peace is going to be a better UN and that it'll allow him to bring Russia, who will put money into it. Everybody will just be able to buy in to the Board of Peace, and it won't require you to act in any certain way. You'll just have to, they'll charge you more if you want to murder your citizens.
Trump could become sovereign of half the planet, but not all of it.
He's not going to live that long, stupid.
Fourth is legitimacy. UN human rights experts have formally condemned the board as illegal, arguing that Resolution 2803 was used as a cover for something far beyond its original mandate, which legal analysts confirm was focused solely on Gaza and time limited to 2027. And that stigma is making it harder for smaller democracies and humanitarian organizations to participate. And it gives every skeptic a legal hook to hang their objections on.
Well, it was meant to be a temporary slush fund because Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck what happens after he leaves this planet. He's just stacking, dummy.
Here's the layer that could be Trump's answer to all four.
Oh, I can't wait. Here comes the magic shift. And I can tell by the way you're touching your eye right now that you completely believe it and that you don't feel any shame in selling this nonsense. How can you invite her on your show? I don't think she would come, but sure.
The iMac was always designed with a digital pillar, a unified system for tracking customs, energy transfers, and trade settlements across the entire corridor. And that goal is real and it's documented. So what analysts are now watching is whether the Board of Peace uses that infrastructure as something more than a logistics tool, effectively making it the financial operating system of the corridor itself. So the logic is straightforward. If all energy and trade moving through the iMac...
I need 5 more subs to be at 90K? Really? 4? 3? We need two more? For real? Look at that.
...settled through a single dollar...
Or 89.
...platform that the board controls, then access to the corridor and access to that system becomes the same thing. Countries that want in have to operate inside it.
Yeah, that's a protection scheme. That's not a Board of Peace, dum-dum. And it circumvents the dollar. You want that to be Trump's fucking legacy?
that don't get locked out of the most important new trade route on the planet.
That you have to buy into by paying off Trump? Are you fucking nuts? 90K. What's up? Hey. Or did we? We get there? Almost? Yeah. Yeah, 89. That's what I thought it was. I was like, man, I thought we got an extra 1,000.
This is
Still good. Still good. Still, we cleared the 89 hump. We can do it now. 90. Now let's do it.
a strategic goal. It's not a confirmed policy, but the architecture for it, the DFC insurance, the IMAC digital pillar, the board's governance structure, that's already in place.
No, it isn't. There's a bunch of pieces in place. That does not mean they will naturally join, stupid.
The question isn't whether the pieces exist, it's whether the board can assemble them.
Right. Yeah, while you're at it, why don't you go, there's Korean culture, and there's German culture, and there's Canadian culture, and there's Guatemalan culture. If we could put all four of these together into one culture, we could form a super culture. Like, okay.
Apply
and you can't without erasing the other ones?
Pressure. If they do, it addresses the European problem by making the corridor commercially irresistible regardless of political objection. The Congress problem.
Right. They wouldn't care if you used it for slave trade or guns or, yeah, it wouldn't matter. You sell bioweapons and all that kind of stuff. What choice would they have? Yeah, morally.
By generating toll revenue that makes the DFC self-funding. The BRICS problem by making that alternative ledger economically inferior. And
it already is. It's impossible.
Legitimacy problem by making membership the only path to relevance in the post-Hormuz world. The board's greatest strength.
All right. Jesus Christ. So basically you want central planning. Fucking commies, man. They always sneak up on you dressed as maggots. You want central planning of world trade driven by Donald Trump as the permanent chairman of the Board of Peace, and no one gets to buy or sell things except without his mark? Do you not see? Do you not see how stupid this is? How can you not see?
And its greatest vulnerability is the same thing. It's a private club. It's efficient because it bypasses bureaucracy. It's fragile because it depends entirely on Washington's ability to keep subsidizing the risk. And on enough of the world...
Sorry, no. Washington doesn't subsidize the risk. She's asking the American taxpayer to subsidize the risk. Washington.
Getting that access to the machine is worth...
This is just dumb. This is completely nuts. And she's hanging Trump's legacy and future on it.
Price of admission. So the open question isn't whether Trump has built something consequential. He has. The question...
No, he hasn't.
Whether enough of the planet decides to use it.
Yeah, all right. It's not consequential unless it has consequences. And the consequences you're talking about is whether other people will buy in and use it as opposed to it just being some dickhead slush fund. The problem is Trump doesn't want it to be anything more than a dickhead slush fund. That's not what he wants. If too many people get in, they're going to want to look at the books, dummy. God damn. Oh, she thinks the Board of Peace will straighten this out. That's what that is. Woof. How in the hell? All right. We have so much stuff. Oh my God. I know I started late, so I can go late. I'm just saying. I started an hour late. So real quick, I need to show you this thumbnail because I don't know what the hell is going on. This is Ben Shapiro, and the title of this is "The Race with China to Win the AI War: Why They Have a Robo Bernie Sanders." I mean, I think he talks about it. He'd have to. What the fuck is that? Or that's just the only one that aged. The rest of them all look young. Good God. What a dickhead. But anyways, so he put this thing together. That's one of my favorite thumbnails in a while because there's no way he can make it make sense. All right, next up, Time's up. Explained Trump's plan to end the Iran war and what he won't budge on. You tell us. You go, girl. Yes, queen.
The whole thing here is about one thing, and it's about leverage. And
That's what it is. It is leverage. Art of the deal, baby. Leverage being, of course, the threat of violence, which isn't really leverage. It's strong arming, but
who is going to blink? Who looks weak on the world stage?
Trump.
Controls the escalation ladder. And at the heart of it,
The IRGC.
there are two fights that are really important in this. One, the nuclear program.
Which we obliterated last year. So put a pin in that and forget about it.
Iran is saying they're never going to give it up. And America's position is, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Sorry, Trump's is. I'm fine with them having, at some point in the future, between now and 7,000 years from now, some sort of a civilian nuclear program. I would like all countries to give up their nuclear weapons. So the idea that the Iranians couldn't use nuclear power like thorium reactors, for example, which I think would solve this whole fucking problem, that they couldn't have those at some point because we're forcing them to continue to burn fossil fuels forever. Doesn't seem like a plan.
And cannot, under any circumstance, be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Period. End of story.
Well, I guess they all got to go.
Not Donald Trump. This is all the way back to I think even Jimmy Carter might have been saying that. But the first president besides Jimmy Carter was Ronald Reagan. And every single one of them has said this.
Right. They said it about a lot of countries. We didn't invade North Korea.
Now, Iran's position is, nuclear capability. And we're not doing it for weapons, really. No, this is about sovereignty and energy and survival, right?
Which I believe is Trump's argument on behalf of Israel for why we're doing what we're doing, I think. So, yeah, but, never mind.
We all know this is their ticket to become untouchable. Any nation with a nuclear weapon is untouchable.
Israel has them. They're not untouchable.
And they hold the cards.
Israel doesn't hold the cards. They've been bombed a bunch, apparently. They have nukes.
That's why they will never truly give one up. They'll talk about it. They'll sign papers.
So, again, it has to be regime change. It cannot be any of the same people. Full stop.
For the cameras, but history has shown us they negotiate in public and they advance their program in private.
Just like Trump and his attack on Iran. I would say to Donald Trump and the leaders of Iran, get a room.
To be dismantled. Number two, the control of the Strait of Hormuz. There is no way that we are going to let the artery of the global economy.
Not the artery of the global economy. One of them, perhaps, but not the artery. You're a silly person.
Held by Iran. It's not going to happen. If Iran can choke the strait, they can spike prices overnight. They can bring the Western economies to their needs.
No, they can't. They can. It'll be rough running for a while, but again, we would eventually adapt to an electrical system to compensate, like we were for years until Donald Trump put a halt to it. And people would start going, that wind shit he was talking about was really dumb. If we'd have converted to renewables, we wouldn't give a goddamn about any of this right now. And this is true of all the other countries.
The world hostage. They already are. So, no.
Okay, why? Why do they hold the world hostage? Because they produce 20% of the world's oil. You don't think that through renewables over the course of a 10-year period, over the last 10 years, we could have removed 20% of the need for fuel oil?
You can't have those two things.
Well, that's the only thing they give a shit about.
Cannot and must not, and we won't, allow a radical Islamic regime to have nuclear weapons and control over the global economy.
Okay, so they want both, and they're not going to say okay. So what's the point of the ceasefire then? Are you just fucking around? It just needs time to reload?
And energy. It can't. This is not a regional squabble. This is about who controls the world's energy future and who sets the rule of.
No, it does not. It's about the short-term future of energy because the long-term future of energy on the planet is not fossil fuels. It isn't. There is no goddamn way that in 1,000 years from now, if the human race is still around, we're still burning dinosaur jizz to power combustion engines to get our economy moving. Dumb. It's so boring. Like that they
in the 21st century. And, the question really is both sides are negotiating while actively preparing for war.
both sides are lying about negotiating while actively preparing for destruction.
Is running military contingencies in case the talks collapse. Donald Trump is back saying, I'm going to hit the bridges and the power plants. He's not going to do that.
Yeah, he is.
He's not going to do that.
Yeah, he is.
I'd be shocked if he did that. And
you haven't been shocked so far?
I have to tell you, I'd have to see what exactly is happening.
Yeah. What he means is when Trump hits the bridges and electrical plants, Glenn Beck will find a way to make it sound okay to his viewers. He'll sell it. He'll spit polish that turd.
But if he went and hit all of the power plants and all of the bridges, I don't support that. I mean, that's your what?
Not right now, because you think he's not going to do it. Once he does it, you'll support it.
And he's not going to do it. You would hurt the people of Iran.
He just threatened to wipe out their entire civilization. You think he cares?
Okay. Iran is ramping up all of the rhetoric. They're moving military assets. They're posturing,
Gee, what's Trump doing?
And the ceasefire may not be extended at all. I think it's going to, because I'm going to show you in a minute the game that I think we're playing.
All right, let's hear it.
The talks are happening because the alternative is war, and it's very real, and both sides know it might happen, as early as tomorrow. So here's what you need to do.
Buy large cans of beans, dig a hole in your backyard, put an old kerosene tank in there, and then use an arc welder, cut a hole in it, build a fire toilet in there, and then just shove the bean cans down in there and wait for Glenn to give you the go-ahead to move into your bunker.
Don't listen to any of the words come from any side. Don't listen to Donald Trump say, I'm going to blow up all the power plants and everything else. And don't listen to, we're not, we're going to keep our nukes and everything else. Because neither of those are going to happen. If the talks are real, you're going to see a couple of
They're not.
things happen. One, Iran will show up at the table. We don't even know if they're going to show up.
They didn't show up.
And in person, not through proxies. Okay? The Strait of Hormuz starts to open back up for
It's not open.
traffic.
It's not open for traffic at all. Okay, so, strike two.
And then at least some verifiable movement in the limiting of their nuclear capability.
Okay, zero movement there either. Yeah, fire toilet. The kind that instead of using water, it burns the crap and turns it into power. Like, you ever seen one of the flint? I know way too much about survivalist prepper nonsense just for the purpose of making jokes.
Vague commitments, but actual inspection steps.
Yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. Stupid.
Now, if this is just theater, and it might be.
It's just theater.
You'll see.
And by the way, it was bad theater. There was no one in the cast. No one showed up. We didn't show up. They didn't show up. Islamabad was like, please.
You'll see stalling. You'll see refusals to attend.
Yes, we did.
More incidents at sea, more missiles, more proxy attacks.
Yeah, we saw all that, which means it's theater, sure. Any toilet can be a fire toilet if you're brave enough, or if you've eaten the right ingredients.
And that'll all happen with, we're continuing talks. They're not, okay? They're not making peace. They're buying time. And who does that work for?
The Saudis.
Well, if I'm President Trump sitting in that chair.
It's broken. It will break.
and I'm glad I'm not. This is
No, believe me, we wouldn't, as bad as he is, we would never swap you for him.
moment, and he is more than welcome to it. I know he
No, he's not.
focused on verifiable nuclear limits. There is
No, he's not.
nothing that frightens this president. I could leave it at that. I was going to say more, but I think I could leave it. There's nothing that frightens this president except nuclear war.
He had to be stopped by Dan Kane from starting one.
That terrifies him, and it should.
Yeah, because he saw a movie in the 80s.
It should. So, real inspections, dismantling of key capabilities, no hidden stockpiles. We've all seen the movie before. They talk, they cheat, they advance. Boom. Second thing, real guarantees on the Strait of Hormuz. If Iran walks away still holding the ability to shut it down, then this was not worth what we've done, okay?
Well, guess what, asshole?
And it's unacceptable,
Fire Toilet Country tonight on CBS.
and the president knows that.
That's the name, by the way. Fire Toilet Country is the name of Glenn Beck's new country album.
He also needs to be able to read the internal pressure inside of Iran. This is why I think these peace talks and the ceasefire is happening.
They're not.
Because what you do,
Literally, the Iranians fired on civilian vessels. We fired on and disabled one of their civilian vessels. There's no ceasefire. We're just not bombing right now. It still doesn't make it a ceasefire.
is you take
People are firing.
an enemy like this, you take an enemy and you push them all the way to the wall. And then you're trying to separate the people who want to live from the people who don't care if they live because they're on some religious jihad.
So how do you do that exactly? Do you just like, who wants a candy bar? Like the guy who wants a candy bar definitely wants, because he's planning on living long enough to digest it. And then who wants a candy bar in heaven? Right.
You cannot negotiate with people who don't care if they live or die.
All right. I mean, the idea is that everyone who goes to war, every soldier who goes to war, it's not that they don't care if they live or die, but they're willing to sacrifice themselves for the goal of winning. And this is so dumb.
Okay? That they think they're hastening the return of the promised one.
Yeah. You mean like Huckabee?
Negotiate with those people. We don't know who's in charge.
Yes, we do. And they're much more reasonable, and they're dead.
We need the people who want to live to sit down at the table and then to be able to actually do something.
What if the people that want to live have to convince the people who don't care if they die to let them live?
Last few days, they've said the IRGC is in charge. I'm not sure the IRGC is in charge.
The IRGC is in charge. I mean, you can, I know that. Most people know that. But you can tell it's true because Glenn Beck acts like he doesn't know it.
What he is. But we will see as we move along.
Let me guess. In a room full of people where everybody is a bunch of like warlords and jihadists and you know, kleptocrats and criminals and that kind of stuff, who's in charge when in the scramble? The guy with the gun? Yeah. Whoever is the guy in charge of the guns, that guy's in charge. If it's a coin flip, that dude gets heads every time.
What these peace talks and what this break
That didn't happen.
in war is really all about is
Which isn't a break in war.
an advantage to the U.S. We're not killing more people. We are holding the line. We are buying time. I'll tell you why that's really important here in a second. We are buying time.
Procrastinating, I think.
And we're able to keep poking in and saying, hey, we'd like to talk to somebody.
So fucking macho.
Seeing who are we talking to, okay?
Well, no. Like, just because somebody picks up the phone doesn't mean they're in charge. What are you talking about?
There's a chance this ends in conflict. But if it does, it's not just because of Iran. In fact, it's really not about Iran right now. It is about global energy control. Everybody has said my whole lifetime, and I have too, I hate the war for oil idea.
Except,
and we go over there all the time, and we may not be fighting.
Well, we didn't have to, you dumb motherfucker. Jimmy Carter put solar panels on the White House for a fucking reason, and Reagan took them down for that very same reason, to stop it. If we had advanced towards renewables starting then, we'd be out of this game by now. But Republicans and having to elect literally oil men from Texas as their nominees for vice president, then president again, are why we're still in this shit. It's one thing to go, we're not going to fight a war over oil when we need it. It's another thing to go, you know what? The war we need to fight over oil is never needing it again. Even the stuff we bring out of the ground.
Oil, but we're fighting for the peace over there so oil can flow. So
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
It's a war for oil in a way, okay?
Yeah, it kind of.
We cannot continue the fight for oil.
Trump only wants to fight in places where he can keep the oil.
You cannot have a strong Iran that has the ability to close down the Strait of Hormuz. You cannot have it. And you can't have them with nuclear weapons because they will use them.
On the Strait of Hormuz?
That's what this is really all about.
I thought it was the hokey pokey, because every time I would hear the hokey pokey, that's what it's all about.
Controls the oil because that controls the economy. And if you have Iran out of the picture, we can come home.
Hey, imagine if we had oil out of the picture. Dum-dum. Maybe think about it for a second. You owe Obama and Biden and Clinton and Carter a fucking apology.
Let the Middle East deal with all of that. But
they would be. And they would still be raising the price of oil. And the only way it wouldn't affect us is if we didn't buy as much. We produce 13.5 million barrels a day. We use 19 to 20. Period. Never mind the naphtha we use for fucking plastics.
Nobody else in the world. Europe is now talking about they're not going to be able to have planes up in the sky by June. You're not going to be able to fly anywhere.
Yeah, I'm starting to think this was a dumb idea.
They have no jet fuel. And yet you're not willing to send an aircraft carrier down there to protect and get that oil? What's wrong with you?
Well, because they don't want to get involved in a war. I guess they're, just too peaceful. It might be one of those situations where they start finding alternative ways to fuel their jets. Or move their commuter vehicles entirely to electric so that there's plenty of fuel left over and they don't need as much as they used to, which sounds like a great long-term plan. If you want to stay out of war in the Middle East, and if you want to stop the wars in the Middle East, even the ones we're not involved in, maybe it's time to get off the oil tit.
Make any sense, which leads me to another theory, which if I have time, I'll get to later today. I have so much to talk to you about.
And none of it means anything.
But that's what this is really all about. And I
also, no, it isn't. And all right, this is, again, even I am getting tired of his turd polishing. Now, let me jump to this. Which one? This? No, not that one. This one. Okay, so this is to do with the jets, the jet fuel issue. 20,000 flights canceled, jet fuel prices skyrocket, forcing airlines to cut routes. This is in Europe. That's why there's a Lufthansa airline behind the peanut butter dickhead and co.
You mentioned jet fuel, right? And there's three stories I'm going to read at the same time, and then Tom, I'm going to come to you. Number one, Deutsche.
I'm a jet fuel genius. I can solve the world's problems without even trying. All right. Sorry. Sometimes Styx lyrics just pop into my head.
Lufthansa canceled 20,000 short-haul flights to save on jet fuel. Rob, go ahead and play the clip.
Lufthansa has cancelled 20,000 flights between May and October.
Oh, by the way, you can tell when things are shit for Trump and the Trump sucks when peanut butter dickhead starts getting the caffeine leg shake. You like he starts bobbing like this. He starts doing the bounce like this. Hold on. Did I? Thank you, Candy, for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. I don't know why this thing stretches out. Hold on 1 second. I have a text box shrink. I want it dynamic. Ooh, that's not right. I don't want it dynamic. That's not helpful. I want it. Hold on. It shrunk. I'm sorry. Hold on. You there? Oh, almost. Come here, you. There you go. Okay, and then quit it, son of a. Why is it back? Come here. Sorry, Candy. I'm trying to make it the thing larger so that I can grab the thing at there. Okay, there it is. Thank you, Candy. Son of a. I don't know why that's a problem. All right, the text box should be dynamic. There we go. And then it went away. It just vanished. Sorry. Okay. Thank you for that. And thank you, Simonius Monk. Spot on, Reagan. Thank you very much. Well, understand that I don't understand. Okay. Dude, why is it so hard to shape these things? That's super odd. There we go. This thing, and then here we go. Okay. That was labored. Sorry. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Candy. See if this one works. Hold on. Get up there. Get on screen. Where is it? Why? Why won't the chat things go on the screen? It's annoying me. Okay, let's take this out and this out like that. Where is this guy? It got slid off the screen or something? Hold on. All right, I'm going to take this one. Here we go. Try to do this. Yeah, it just vanished. Where'd it go? I'm sorry. I'll figure that part of it out. So very odd. All right, how about this? They allow me to do a out of view options overlays. That's what it is. Placeholder comment overlay to add to horizontal comment. Okay, there we go. And then I already did that one. Okay, I guess it just fell off the screen. Must be hidden somewhere. Yo. Can it center it where it can put it someplace? That's annoying. I found a bug in Ecamm. All right, I'll write them a letter. All right, so back to this. Sorry. Thank you, Candy.
Save on fuel in one of the largest cuts by a global airline. The cuts will save around 40,000 tons of jet fuel and will amount to 1% of.
Yeah, they're short haul flights because European countries are very close together and they fly back and forth. It's like regional flights in the United States.
Seats.
It's not a good thing, but it's not devastating. They also have trains everywhere.
The carrier is trying to boost profitability with a plan to cut 4,000 administrative jobs by 2030.
Can you imagine like what's going on there? Now let me get to the U.S. one. So you may say, well, Pat, that's Germany. Why do I care about Germany? Do you care?
Yeah, who cares about Germany? Whatever went wrong when they had economic problems?
United Airlines. Here's United Airlines for you. United Airlines slashes 2026 forecast as fuel cost surge. Okay, so here's a story for them. Forecast to adjust $7 to $11 a share. Let me read this story to you with them. Here we go. So United said it could earn between $7 and $11 a share on an adjusted basis this year, down from its previous forecast, $12 to $14 a share. Released in January, more than a month ago, the carrier, like others, is trimming down of its planned flying this year to reduce costs. Wall Street had already been adjusting its expectation for the year. As a result, analysts polled by...
Notice how much he's shaking, like his fucking... He's got the caffeine foot going. You can always tell it's like a particularly shit investor news day when he does that.
LSEG had forecast that United's just full-year earnings could be $9.58 a share for the second quarter. United forecast adjusted earnings between $1 to $2 a share. Analysts had expected $2.08 a share for the quarter. The carrier has said it's expected its revenue to cover between 40 to 50% of the fuel price increase in the second quarter, as much as 80% in the third, and between 85 to 100% by the end of the year. Revenue overall rose more than 10% from 14.61 to 14.61 from 13.21 billion from last year. Tom, what's going on over here with travel? And
Gee, I don't know. It's something to do with the cost of fuel or something.
fuel.
Well, it's a little bit of a complex situation.
A little bit.
All of the airlines out there, I should say almost all, I believe 90% of the airlines out there have one of the most important persons in the executive suite is the economist that's responsible for their fuel hedging strategies. They hedge fuel and they try to plan for things. And what's happening right now, the cost of fuel unexpectedly popping up, they're looking for cost reduction. And the way they're looking for cost reduction, in the case, every airline, some of the shorter flights.
Oh my God, dude. Oil prices are up, and they're going to be up in a sustained way, and they're looking beyond the futures market to their direct needs. They need a specific type of oil refined in a specific type of way so that they can have jet fuel that they trust and that can't be sanctioned by Russia or any other shit that Trump is dumping onto the fucking market. That's why. Yeah, it must be Joe Biden's fault.
Are not profitable, believe it or not. But they get people, like, think of Delta.
Tom's on Monect. Literally the dumbest name for social media or app I've ever seen. It's like they got the name from Sloth from the Goonies.
At a giant hub in Atlanta. And it operates small flights that get to Atlanta. And some of those are marginally like break-even pad, or maybe they lose a little bit. Now, why would you do that? Because they make a lot of profit once you get to Atlanta, and then you fly to New York, or you fly to LA, or you fly to South America on the long flights with the large wide-body aircraft, and they make a lot of money on those. And so what Lufthansa said is they have a small regional division called CityLine. And so CityLine, they say, hey, we can't afford to run CityLine, which means that some of those people will drive 2 hours to get to a more major airport rather than having the convenience of a small airport, you know, where they can get to the major airport to fly. And this is all around fuel. And I can give you some perspectives on
Really?
as well. Now you're going to have people that say, well, maybe I just won't fly this year. Kim had to go rather urgently to see her dad in Idaho. And so the coach ticket was $750 just to go from Fort Lauderdale to Idaho. And that's on Delta. Go to Atlanta, switch planes, go to Salt Lake, and then there. Crazy, right? Well, she already has to go back there again because he has another appointment she has to go to 6 weeks from now in June. Do you know what the price of that one is? $1,600. The same coach ticket.
Tom,
Wow, Trump is doing great bringing prices down.
coach ticket, $1,600?
Yeah, but
What the heck? How's that? This is in an airplane?
it's also because it's 3 flights, and Twin Falls is a very small airport. But you take a look at what's happening. This is crazy.
No, it's logical. There's nothing insane about it. It's what happens when you fuck with oil prices, and before you do that, you do everything you can to make sure that we need as much fuel as possible. You undercut car charging stations. You eliminate funding for Amtrak just because you hate fucking Biden.
This is really crazy. And
Yeah, it's not crazy. It's completely logical.
we're seeing prices go up. Now, that's one example from Delta to a micro. By the way, and the question she's asking, what if Delta decides they're not going to operate SkyWest later this summer, or they're not going to have that?
Then you're going to fly to Denver and drive.
Have to go to Salt Lake City and then drive 3.5
Right, yeah, or Salt Lake City, I guess.
hours to get to her dad's place in southern Utah. And so what's happening now is the airlines were carrying the initial cost. And now the airlines are saying, look, I wanted to keep my market share. I wanted to keep my customers. I wanted to do a little bit so
I don't want to put my planes away for a long period of time because we can't get them into the air while they rot and depreciate. And it'll take a ton of repairs and stuff to get them airworthy again.
a little bit of it. Now they're saying I can't do that. So I got to get rid of my short haul flights that are just marginally profitable or not profitable, and I got to raise fares. And that's what's happening.
While you're saying that, there's 5 other airlines that are going through this as well. Cathay Pacific Airways.
Yeah, this was going to happen anyways, though. I mean, it didn't matter. Thank you.
Hong Kong-based airline said it will cancel about 2% of its scheduled passenger flights from May 16 to June 30th. HK Express, a budget carrier, said it would cut about 6%.
Look at his chair. Look at his fucking chair shaking. Why don't you guys just call out Trump for fucking things up and driving prices up? Like fucking, like gas on the corner over here is $6 where I am. For like, you know, mid-level or whatever.
11, and then we already talked about Lufthansa, what they're going to be cutting. And then Dutch's airline KLM said it would cut 160 flights in Europe next month, amounting to less than 1% of its flight schedule. And then some companies have already signaled larger reductions. Vietnam Airlines in March said that it may cut up to 18% of its international flights and 26% of its domestic flights. So that's big. We're seeing the stories. It's not yet fully scaled to everybody, but you're feeling the impact so far right now. Brandon.
Yeah, and I think this is just kind of the beginning of this if it keeps going in that direction, because we just got to the point where the last fuel shipments from before the war started were arriving. So, I mean, like
excuse me, military operation / excursion / journey.
That lag effect is finally starting to hit. But that's why I think that oil is actually a lot like interest rates going up, and counterintuitively, it could kind of knock the price down of a lot of things. Like people are saying this is going to cause inflation, but I think it's just going to devour disposable income because of you know what people.
Oh yeah, that's a great approach. So, prices won't inflate because people won't have money because they're having to burn it to make their car roll. So we're saved. We've solved inflation. We've you know what would be even better? We should just make drugs necessary to keep people alive more expensive, because people who have to pay even for the simplest medications won't have money to buy food. And so that'll bring down the price of eggs.
On energy, people have to spend on travel. And yeah, I mean, airlines, it's not surprising that one of the first ones to go. They've always.
By the way, he's got the same chit-chat patter you hear from guys who have a lot invested in crypto and have watched it tank lately. And they're just trying to still seem like they're on top of their game, but they're really fucking depressed. They got that Kurt Metzger tweaker head twitch.
Razor thin margins. I think it's like 2 to 5%, and that's why they always have to get government.
Look at the fucking paper shaking. Look at that. Can I help you with that?
But yeah, the one bright spot out of this, I think it could bring.
Seriously, look at the picture. The paper's driving me nuts. Look at it.
Inflation, a lot of other.
Like, what are you, Catherine Hepburn? I don't know what we're going to do in this strange world with this fight going on. And won't this world just settle down once and for all?
Because how much more people are spending on energy.
Yeah, you know, this is a great article by CNBC. It says travelers need to know a few things. Number one, know your rights. Every airline has its own policies about what it owes to passengers who face.
You can't quote fucking Consumer Financial Protection Bureau stuff that you were against.
And cancellations. Federal rules require airlines to pay a prompt refund to a ticketed passenger, even those with non-refunded tickets, if they cancel a flight or make a significant change to the itinerary. Number two, check your contact info. Make sure the airline has your contact information on the file in case it needs to get in touch with you. Number three, act fast. If an airline...
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is so pathetic. Do you think these assholes a year ago... yes, Janelle, great president. You think a year ago these guys thought they would just be reading like life hacks from fucking People magazine about know your fucking flying rights? Because... I don't know, people are going to be flying so much. Maybe they should know these things because they're going to be tired of winning and they're just going to be traveling so much, going to Disneyland and all this other stuff. They're just going to be like popping from flight to flight because it's going to be so awesome.
Contact you about a canceled flight or change to your itinerary, said Nerd Wallets. The sooner you act in contacting the airline, the more options you're going to have. Fly nonstop. Flying nonstop to a destination is generally more expensive than booking a flight with a...
No shit.
However, it's a good strategy for travelers who can afford it. and want to minimize disruptions and consider travel insurance while you're going through it. So it's an interesting time where you're traveling right now. So
yeah, it's an interesting time. Just, to travel time as time goes when you're traveling. It's like Christmas or, spring break or summer, or actually it's not. It's just the middle of fucking, April.
it's something that's becoming real. Of course, we'll follow the story
Cool.
closer
Thank you,
to see how
CSL.
much bigger this gets, but that's that part. Let me get to the next one. We don't do any major sponsorships on the podcast.
Oh, fuck you. And he goes straight from that to selling fucking T-shirts.
You won't see us doing a podcast and announcing 7 sponsors. We haven't done that yet. We're talking to some big companies.
We might need to, because I got a fucking trailer full of Future Looks Bright there shirts. Yeah. Oh, they're going the Vault 26 conference. They're in Vegas. Put your brand in the room with 12,000 founders. What a terrible idea. Okay, MGM strip marquee sign. So you get your logo up there if you sponsor. Look at this, 40 by 40 immersive booth. So turnout is shitty. You're selling spots at your thing. You can have a main stage moment. You can buy your way on stage with him, which nothing says successful business entrepreneur like somebody who has to buy their way on stage with Peanut Butter Dickhead. And they give you a nice 2-page spread in the workbook. So you get the workbook. You're just going to put your logo in the workbook. He looks happy.
Yes, go for it, Rob. Here's what it looks like for sponsors at the Vault Conference. Go ahead.
In 2019, the Vault Conference started with just 420 visionaries.
And
1,500 in 2022, 3,000 in 2023.
Also, founders of what? I mean, it just sounds like you're selling tickets.
6,000 in 2024.
So everybody who buys a ticket is a fucking founder?
Nearly 8,000 in 2025.
And now we're back down to 412.
26, we're expecting over 12,000 entrepreneurs, CEOs, and business leaders.
And hangers-on and dipshits and people who want a weekend in Vegas.
For the first time ever.
For what?
We're heading west to the iconic MGM Grand in Las Vegas.
Because it's cheap right now.
Our biggest stage yet. Over 6,000 attendees are decision makers, running companies.
They decided to come to Vegas, I guess, technically.
From $25 million to over $500 million.
So how much jet fuel is this flight going to fucking cost us? I mean, is it even worth it?
More than 2,000 CEOs lead teams of 75 plus employees.
So 6,000 of the people are just their employees?
They come from around the world to...
That would be the world, I guess. I'm guessing that's the world we're talking about.
Grow, scale, and do business.
Looks like a sausage fest.
And they don't just attend, they engage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they hand out business cards. You ever seen somebody hand out a business card? It's fucking magic. Wait a minute. Did you just smell his business card?
And they don't just attend.
What is that?
They engage.
Smell that. Oh my God, that's nasty. Yeah, it's been in my pocket.
Business. And they don't just attend, they engage.
Hey, smell that. It smells nasty. Yeah, it's been in its front pocket the whole time. That's what its front pocket smells like. Ugh. They cut before she passes out. Frump. Roofie cards. That's my new business. I've got roofie business cards. Now you don't have to drop it in their drink anymore. You just hand the girl a business card. She blacks the fuck out. It's genius. One of my Peanut Butter Dickhead and Vinny are my 2 biggest investors. Our planes' wings are falling off.
Response.
Oh, you have to listen to that guy. Yeah, fuck yeah. Say something about liberals again. I don't have any money.
Overwhelmingly positive.
Because if you say anything negative, you're being like a woman, okay? So don't do. Let me put that in my phone right now. This dude, what's your name? Jerry. Jerry's acting like a chick. Okay, you're on the list, Jerry. Just letting you know. You're looking a little estrogeny there. You might want to go talk to one of the muscular bald guys. but not for too long because they might want to take you into the bathroom. It's a long story. They like Greco-Roman wrestling, like old school. I mean, old school. Oil, sand pit. You're making pearls in your butt. It's bad.
Generating qualified leads and long-term relationships. And even more powerful, over 71% went further, actively opting in to connect directly with sponsors through their dedicated Connect service.
Connect.
Our official event.
Yeah, let me guess. 75% of them use PayPal, and that's how you're...
That enables
Connect.
real one-on-one
Connect.
conversations, qualified introductions.
Oh, God. Can you imagine getting a fucking phone call from those assholes? I get to FaceTime with them. I'm all dead inside. And this is how they ended their 20,000 flights canceled thing. Okay, one more, and then I gotta go. All right, fuck him. Okay, this is that's got to be for Friday. I'm guessing. Allie Beth Stuckey, Silicon Valley elites obsess over the Antichrist for this reason. Would any reason make sense? Who cares why? Because Peter Thiel considers himself that? It was B-roll, yeah. Thongs are optional. No, they are not, okay? No, they are not. All right, they're building... Are you a god? No? Then die. Ray, if anybody asks you if you're a god, you say yes! This chick is toast.
Let me just start with the Antichrist. Peter
Well, as you do. This is his pickup line.
Been going around talking about the Antichrist.
Yes.
I haven't figured that one out. Have you?
Well, he doesn't think humanity should survive, and he thinks the Bible is misread, that the Antichrist is a bad guy, and yet he considers himself a Christian for monetary reasons. What's the problem?
What the anti...
Listen, you smell something? That's right. It's one of my favorite lines. Egon, your mucus.
Is or what Peter Thiel thinks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to understand, but he is much smarter than I am.
What?
And he is occupies a whole different world than I do.
Yes, one where they flatter the concept of the Antichrist.
Technology. So
yeah, he's an investor. He's not a fucking coder.
I think the argument is that
maybe she just means gay. Maybe just because he's gay. Maybe that's what she means.
Opposition to artificial intelligence and greater technology is a form of the Antichrist. I think that is the argument.
Oh, so the Antichrist is against AI. So if you're against AI running willy-nilly, you're with the Antichrist. That's a good one. How's that going to work? Look at Glenn. Look at his face.
What is your thought?
Well, that chips away to my entire bullshit argument.
On that. You understand that probably much better than me.
Well,
no, he does not. He has no fucking idea.
I don't think opposition is the Antichrist. I think blindness will lead us to the Antichrist.
Blindness to
AI. I think
blindness to what?
AI.
I guess if the Antichrist is super handsome, which he's supposed to be, then blindness would protect you from him.
Could be used as the tool of the Antichrist.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? AI could be the tool of the Antichrist? Well, then maybe.
It is all-knowing, all-seeing.
No, it is not.
Instant.
No, it's not.
You read in the book of Revelation about, you're not going to be able to move anywhere, go anywhere, currency, all of it. That is.
No. You don't get to say that social security numbers and real ID and ID period is the mark of the beast, or the fact that there are numbers on our dollar bills or fiat currency in general are the mark of the beast, and then go, well, that was all bullshit. I think it's AI, Like, then the SWIFT system is the Antichrist.
That is a version of what that could be.
There's no versions. It's either it is or it isn't. It's pretty binary. There's Christ, there's an Antichrist. That's how this shit works.
And, there wouldn't be a Jew left in the world if Hitler would have had this technology that is
Yeah, there would.
just on the horizon.
What?
I think there are people that are building it that, Sam Altman calls it Sam God. His version of ASI is...
What's ASI?
Okay.
Oh, my God. This is gonna be painful. I don't know if I can do this without Rob Glenn with me.
There's AI, which we have.
No, I would argue that AI is what people call AGI or ASI.
Artificial intelligence.
No, we have chatbots that are very complex and can deal in a lot of data. Giant supercalculators with this is fucking ridiculous.
Really good, better than you at one thing.
Wow, that's kind of personal.
Okay.
Says a guy wearing loafers with no socks.
Gemini, ChatGPT.
Right. And ChatGPT and Grok, that's leaning towards what's called AGI, artificial general intelligence, which means you're a general intelligence being. I am.
No, you're not.
You can do a lot of things, and you're...
No. So is this Glenn Beck's argument that he's a master of none?
Good at a lot of things, okay? You're not the master of everything, but you're good at a lot of things. That's general intelligence. Artificial general intelligence, we are now approaching that line to where it can paint, it can write music, it can...
No, it can't. It can copy and reproduce those things. It's not the same thing. It can't paint. It doesn't have a feeling when it paints. It doesn't have a feeling when it makes music.
Poetry, it can tell you how to build a
Sorry,
building.
Alex, sure.
It can tell you, how to build a bomb. It can...
Right. That's because that's science. That's math. You can work it out yourself, stupid.
It's great at a
it's great that it can help you build a bomb.
bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Artificial superintelligence is the equivalent of...
I'll have the soup.
Every brain that has ever lived and currently living combined. It is a server farm.
Jesus Christ. I never thought I'd see the day where we see what Glenn Beck's pickup game looks like.
In today's, servers, the size of Earth. It is so far beyond...
Whoa, wait a second. What?
The size farm today combined. It is a server farm today in today's, servers, the size of Earth.
Oh, my God. No, it isn't. Well, I guess we're safe unless we're going to build another Earth with all the stuff on Earth.
It is so far beyond man's understanding. Man cannot understand. It's thinking so fast, so far ahead of us. It appears to be godlike because we cannot understand it.
Yeah. Explain cell phones.
That's real danger. AGI, we don't know how long it'll take to get from AGI to ASI. That could be overnight. That could never happen.
Well, if they need a server farm the size of the Earth, it's going to take a bit.
It's closer to overnight.
And what is the danger? Like you said, if Hitler had that ASI, then no Jew would be alive.
If Hitler had just the technology that we have today, with all of the surveillance and AGI,
everybody else would have it too.
Or AI.
If he had it alone, which would never happen and isn't happening even currently.
It would know where you are.
I don't even know where I am.
It would know who you're connected to, who your friends are, where you've been. It will know where you're being hidden.
It could have found Anne Frank like that.
It will know because it will also have access to everybody on your list of friends, your friend tree.
Yeah, right now it sounds like the service Google sells to fucking retailers.
You disappear. Whose power outage has gone up? Or power usage has gone up? Whose water usage has gone up by one person? In your
Well, what if you have an off-grid solar panel? What if we, in that same period of time, we don't have a need for a power grid anymore because the power grid, the larger stuff is all predicate. Fuck me.
tree.
Yeah.
There you are. You know what I mean? And it can
especially if you pee right on a solar panel, it could make both go up at the same time. Don't whiz on the electric fence
that fast. So just the technology we have today, if hit
fuck, this is so stupid.
Had it would be horrendous.
Right. And if the Allies had it, there wouldn't have been, but we'd have known about concentration camps before the fucking cement dried, stupid.
If we go dark, we will make the Germans look like rookies at everything they did.
If we go dark, what are you talking about? Sorry, we're just going to, what's the AI going to tell us to be Nazis? And we're going to go, oh, you're super intelligence, boss.
Is like a alien life form. If they said today, hey, we just spotted a spaceship, just on the other side of Uranus, and
where? Nothing. Now I am getting nervous. Now I'm worried. Where?
It's coming in. It'll be a few months.
Well, it should better move slowly. Be gentle.
Let's build a welcoming committee. I would want to build a welcoming committee.
On Uranus? Sorry. This is so dumb.
I would also say, should we also not prepare in case they're hostile? Because we don't know how they think. We don't know anything about them, and they're obviously way above us. So let's be cautious. People like Sam Altman are not cautious. He wants the God.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think he considers it a God. I think he considers it the ultimate supercomputer that can solve problems that we've been dogged with forever because no scientist lives long enough to figure this shit out. And no funding will bring the amount of support it would need to hire enough scientists to think 24/7 for 1,000 years. So maybe this will fix some of that shit.
Strangely, I think he thinks he can control it.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to control it. It's everything we would do is a baby gate. I've been in places where they have lots of babies.
Yeah.
Ah, right. That's the adrenochrome farms that you go to. So I always wonder when he takes time off, where he goes. Now we know.
I step over the baby gate.
No, you don't. You do not. You if you did, you would trip and fall. Bullshit. You open the baby gate and walk through. You don't step over it because you can't. Please.
Right.
It stops the babies. We're the babies in that scenario. Right. It will step over anything that we have tried.
Yeah.
We just have to be very, very careful
with the gates.
Yeah. It really is just like the Garden of Eden when say.
No, it's really not.
You can be like God, and Eve thought, well, I can just take a bite and that.
Oh my God. So, AI is the apple. Now that's you assholes. Earth was going along so well, and then you had to fuck it up by trying to know shit.
Yes.
It's never it.
And it's always the search for knowledge, which doesn't make the search for knowledge evil or.
Yeah, it does.
Wrong. It just should come with a price tag.
Right. Apparently being cast out of Eden and being switched from an everlasting life form to one that dies. And the women go through pain in childbirth.
Be careful
with the snakeages.
We're looking for
when you're walking around naked and there's a snake. Especially, look, everybody should be careful, but guys in particular.
That's great. When you are looking to be like God, do not purchase that.
Look, I know I could use a new facial cream, but I don't think it's going to make me godlike. I'm just trying to looks min.
But what are the moral limits that someone like Sam Altman has? Because technology.
Hey, do this with guns. How about that? How about you guys sit there and we'll just put like a bunch of fucking guns with like drum magazines and those like switches that you can put on a 9mm that turns a handgun into a machine gun. Lay those on the table and then have this same fucking conversation.
Can't tell us what's right. It can take us from what's natural to what's possible, but only those of us who have moral limitations will say, but what's moral? And what
I see. So we need a church of the AI. So you can only talk to the AI if you have the special hat and the scepter.
Good. Really, Silicon Valley is only asking what's possible and can we do it, not should we do it. And those of us ask,
yeah, it's the same thing with like the Iran war.
Should we do it? I don't feel like I have enough power. I don't feel like Sam Altman's going to listen to me and say, okay, you can go that far, but no further than that. So what does it look like to try to rein in those powers and to harness them for good?
So I talked to somebody who is at that level. I've never.
And it was the worst conversation of their life.
This before. Somebody at that level said.
Thanks. I thought that was good too, CSL.
To me, I said, how do you stop this? And he said, well, the governments of the world, China wants control. America wants control. Okay. We want these things so we can increase our power and protect ourselves and have control. The minute you go past AGI, you lose control because you are not as smart as it.
Right.
Okay. So,
and the Chinese government and the American government are absolutely the height of smarts right now.
In AGI, you're starting to lose control, but guarantee you are not in charge of ASI.
Sorry, hold on one second. Was that Eliosher? Ghislaine Maxwell sent a mystery USB drive to the Justice Department days after Melania Trump sought to distance herself from the pair's heinous sex crimes. Wonderful. Come on. If she'd only sent it to the Daily Beast.
Okay. So his belief and the belief of people in his world believe that the governments themselves will say, as we get a little closer, stop. Not allowed. And I said, well, that doesn't solve Sam Altman. And he said, you don't think China, Russia, whoever that really understands we lose all power? You don't think that Sam Altmans of the world would just disappear at night? That they wouldn't just be...
So that's what we're waiting on?
Yeah, Russia and China to kill Sam Altman. You think... Okay, real quick. I promise not to get into Friday AI early, but I'm going to end on this. Just for that note, if I may, hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. They launched chat, like OpenAI released their image gen thing today, which is supposedly the best image generating model that exists. Okay, it's and it's right after Claude Design came out, so that's why they were chasing it. But I want to show you, there's a part of the video that, for me, really stood out. Let's see, where is it? It's a little bit the whole thing's, yeah, because it was theirs. It wasn't, yeah, this is it. Boink. Here we go. So, this is ChatGPT Images 2.0.
Today, we are launching ImageGen 2.0.
ImageGen.
We think of DALL-E as cave drawings, and ImageGen 1 as ancient art. Then ImageGen 2.0 is the Renaissance.
The Renaissance.
ImageGen 2.0 is the smartest image generation model ever built, with the ability to generate complex...
Okay, so the images that it creates and the complexity of them are fucking spectacular, because it can stick to your words. You can create an entire document with words in it, and it won't be just a bunch of gibberish and shit like that. comic books, a lot of manga, a lot of shit like that. There's a part in the consistency aspect of this manga thing that they do, whatever. I think it might be around here. We'll see.
Which comes from much improved visual intelligence, essentially. Yes, so now we have the detailed view of myself where you can see me.
Okay, so I think it's on the manga part. So this guy puts a picture of himself in and it picks looks for him. And then they get into this part about how you can create a 3-page manga that follows the story and is consistent and all this other stuff.
But let's just look over some examples of this first. Gabe actually kicked off a few of these examples at the start of the live stream. So let's go to the one on the phone, which is the one of him and Sam, the selfie of them, and they created a manga of it. And if we look,
it's like this 3-page comic book.
The very first image, we can see.
And I'll show you what the standout part of this is. It's something that Sam Altman says.
Yeah, it does look like Gabe and Sam, right? Yeah. But I think what's even cooler about it is that if you look at the follow-up images, they still look like Gabe and Sam, and they still look like in the style that was originally maintained in the first page. And even better is that the story should be very consistent among pages 1, 2, and 3. Now, that's amazing. Yeah, thanks. To see another one of these in action, let's look at the other example that Gabe kicked off. So to give a little.
And by the way, my favorite is the guy on the far right side of your screen over there who just looks wet, like somebody came along and poured a drink on him. He is absolutely the king nerd of this pile of nerds that's on this couch.
Story about this. A few weeks ago, we beta tested the instant version of this model on Ella Marina under the codename Duct Tape. A few of you on the internet were really good detectives and deduced that it was us, but we're going to announce that it was us. And so in this prompt, we basically asked that basically GPT Images 2 to go and find social media reactions to this duct tape model and basically quote people. And so we see quotes from Threads, LinkedIn, Reddit, etc. But I think an even crazier part is that we've also asked the model to put a QR code to chatgpt.com so that you can try out this model right now for yourselves. And can we just make sure that it works?
Yeah, I tried.
Oh, nice. So image generation with thinking allows you to do really complex things, such as, so in this case, web search, synthesize answers, and put a QR code all in one image. But we have still more, and Alex will talk to you about these new details.
So we've also made a lot of improvements.
Excuse me. I'm going to let me see if I can find it in the transcript. In here, show the transcript, and then search in video, vibe code. No result. Hold on. Vibe. Yeah, so it's this part, 1430. That's where it is. Okay, yeah, here it is. So they're talking about how they made a panoramic image that you could it can make a 360 image and then open it in this panoramic viewer and it works. And back up.
Wow.
As you can see, it's actually a very consistent 360 image. You can also see the sun, and the shadows are also in the right direction.
Oh, that's super cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You said you vibe coded this part of it? Yeah.
That's it. Do you hear that?
Also in the right direction.
Oh, that's super cool.
That's incredible. You said you vibe coded this part of it?
Yeah.
You said you vibe coded this part of it. Does anybody think that you need Sam Altman from this point on, other than as a product manager, when you have tools where people can vibe code shit like this off of the model that already exists? It wouldn't matter if you fucking killed Sam Altman. Was the Disney contract for this? Sort of, yeah. But that's the point. Like, there's no the idea that if you knock off the heads of these fucking companies, that it's going to stop this or whatever, and that's what the Russians and the Chinese, because they're controlling it, would kill Sam Altman, and that would do it. It's like, the great man of history myth is exactly what this is. We landed on the moon. I'd like to visit the moon someday. Ain't going to happen. Well, we're getting closer to it than ever. Just stick around. Sam has never been important. That's why they fired him. Yeah. Is AI making billionaires? It depends, because a lot of these companies are so like heavily invested that I don't know that they're worth it because they could sell a part of their company and split, but they got to sell and leave before the bottom drops out and the company puts itself out of business. The models exist right now, and it's not like you can't have access to them. You can take the models that are free right now and downloadable and build one of these models. It would just take you a little while. It would be slower, but it could still do the same shit. Anybody who's got a crypto farm could turn it into a fucking AI factory, which is what they're calling it, which is stupid. So I'm like, yeah, just so dumb. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. I will see you tomorrow. We're going to send you over to, is Boston Brian up? In with the update, I still have to make manual corrections and additions, but then I'm an artiste. Yes, what we all do. That's the whole point. We want human in the loop, CSL. That's what we're going for. But this idea that, like, Glenn Beck thinks that what will save us in this situation is that if they try for AGI, the Russians and the Chinese will kill them.
Well, that was his opinion.
Yeah.
The only way to stop it is for states to say, to recognize, which they haven't yet, to recognize.
And by the time they do, it'll be over. It's so stupid. Like, it's already, the cat's out of the bag, dummy. The time of resource, oligarchies is done. It's just it's a giant clock ticking in the sky. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for, putting up with my tech difficulties when they happened, especially this morning. A little better today. I built this whole setup and scene this afternoon. So hit the like, share the show. I also put out a video today while I was testing the gear about the Trump AI video that he put out again, reading the Bible verse, kind of explaining that. So appreciate you. Thank you for spending time with me, Vanessa. Appreciate it. Thank you, Candy, so much. Thank you, mods. And I will see you guys tomorrow at the regular time. Let's see if this works. There we go. Something along those lines. All right. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. Tell Boston Brian I said hi. And subscribe.